How's it going, guys? In this video, I want to talk to you about what I personally consider probably the best watch for the summer you can buy right now for around $1,000. And it's this guy, the Damasko DS30 OBO, which is just basically their new blue dial version of the very popular Damasko DS30. Now, I actually wasn't planning on buying this watch at all. I mean, I did get it as also an early birthday present for myself, which is in July. But I basically saw a post on Instagram from Long Island Watch. The owner, Marc, posted the picture right here on his Instagram post. And after seeing that, I immediately commented on that post. And I'm like, Marc, can you please do a review of this watch? It just looks amazing. And sure enough, he responded on Instagram. He's like, yeah, the review's coming out soon. This was a few weeks ago. And then once I've actually viewed that review of the watch, I followed up with him again because I actually wanted to purchase the watch. And I did actually end up getting the watch through Long Island Watch website. And I appreciate his communication in getting it. So if you're interested in this watch, check out his website. Right now, I think it's currently out of stock, but they should be getting more Damaskos in the near future. So that's about the story of how I ended up getting this watch. We're going to flip perspectives in a second, and I'll give you my review and initial impressions of this amazing timepiece. Alright guys, so let's unbox this package from Long Island Watches and see what's inside. Alright, so let's get into the review portion of this watch. So with the Damasko DS30 OBO, the dimensions are very favorable. You're getting a 39mm diameter case, and if you flip it to the side here, from tip to tip here, you're looking at just under 48mm. And then the thickness is very low profile. It's about 10mm in thickness. And then if you look at the lug gap here, the opening for this really nice strap is 20mm. So very nicely proportioned watch. I think it's a perfect everyday summer watch for sure. Now, some of the nice features that Damasko does to over-engineer their watch, because they are a German company, one of the main features is ice hardening of the case. So you can see this case almost looks like it's titanium, but this is purely bead blasted steel, and they remove the nickel from the steel somehow, and they basically make it submarine steel grade quality, which is super corrosion and scratch resistant. And for you German watch enthusiasts out there, you might also liken this process to something that Sinn does, which is tegimenting of their cases, especially for their really deep dive, higher end dive watches. Interesting fact though, Damasko got its start making cases, and up until the early 2000s, they actually produced cases for Sinn. So for those of you who think, well, this is maybe just like a ripoff of the Sinn 556, it's not really a ripoff. They do have their own innovations and different specs for this watch. Now, interestingly, I actually happen to have a Sinn 556 on me right here. This is the A-type dial, which has the Arabic numerals. I think the best head-to-head comparison you can get is the Sinn 556i, which is all indices similar to the Damasko here on the left. But be on the lookout for a future head-to-head comparison between these two watches. They're currently two of my favorite everyday wears right now. So let's get back to the Damasko. What really inspired me to get this watch is that beautiful, what they call ocean blue dial. I think part of what makes it pop so well is the sapphire crystal, which has anti-reflective coating on the underside as well as on the top, like on the outside of the crystal. Now this is done by other brands like Sinn and high-end Swiss brands like Breitling, and I just love that feature. It just makes most reflections completely disappear unless you're looking like directly under harsh angles. But I do appreciate how legible this watch is. And with that blue, you're also getting really nicely contrasted white indices along the minute track and for the hour markers. And you also get some really nice broadsword white hour and minute hands. And what really makes this stand out to me is that really nice contrast orange second hand that just sweeps right to the edge of the dial so you can easily see what time it is. Now, one of the hallmarks of Damasko is this like crosshatch pattern across the dial where they divide it into 4 quadrants. It looks like almost like a cross. But the symmetry is so nice on these watches. The text is minimal. You really just have Damasko with the D logo at the 12 o'clock. And then closer to the 12 o'clock there, you have the Made in Germany at the 6. You do get a date display at the 3 o'clock with a really nice step-down aperture to that date wheel, which is black, but it just has the same white that matches the white on the indices. So everything is just super symmetrical. And the visibility is great, not only with the anti-reflective coating, but with the lume that's applied to this watch. I believe it is the new formula, the X1 Superluminova. I'll throw up a lume shot here just so you can see just how strong it lights up. One thing I did notice about the lume is that it seems slightly heavierly applied on those broadsword minute and hour hands. And it's not applied to the second hand, which is to me a slight letdown, but just having that nice orange contrast actually does make it to read even in low light situations. So it's not really like a deal breaker by any stretch of the imagination. Now, another innovation that Damasko does is with their crown. So this crown, the tube as well as outside here, is also ice hardened. And again, I'm not 100% sure about the technical specifications, but they somehow have a self-lubricating system that makes the seals on these last like pretty much a lifetime. And in addition, they also patented a way to allow any impact that travels from the crown doesn't actually go inside and damage the movement. If you want to see a more in-depth detailed description of how they do these innovations, as well as a tour of the Damasko facility in Germany, I recommend you check out the recent YouTube video by Worn and Wound, where they tour the Damasko facility. So let's move on, and I'm going to flip this over. I'll show you the Caseback. My German isn't great, but what I believe it's saying for some of the text is it's describing the ice hardening process. It says a sapphire glass, water resistant to 200 meters, which is essentially like basically you're having a professional diver with you at all times. And then let's move out and look at this amazing composite strap. So this is a Hirsch Robbie strap. It pairs so well with this watch. It's really incredible. What you have here is essentially a nylon weave with blue stitching that matches that dial really well. And then you flip it over and it's pure rubber, which it's really nicely textured so it can breathe. It's kind of perforated a little. So it hugs your wrist, but it's also very breathable. And then if you look at the buckle, you get the signed Damasko D, and I believe that the buckle is ice hardened, similar to the case itself. So moving back to the crown, I just want to talk about the movement. Again, this is an ETA 2824-2, and although there's no like cost certification, anecdotally this has been keeping great time. It's losing about 1 second a day, so I do appreciate how accurate it is. And now I'm just going to throw it on the wrist so you guys can see how it wears. And here's a wrist shot for you guys. So as you can see, even though I have a slightly larger wrist at just over 7.25 inches, I think just the amount of dial real estate, the legibility, and that beautiful colorway just make this watch an excellent summer wear. And it's super comfortable on this Hirsch Robbie strap. Alright, so before I wrap this up, some of you might be wondering, well, are there any negatives to this watch? I think there's just a couple of minor gripes, but they're not deal breakers at all. The first, and I think I mentioned this earlier, is just with the luminescence. While it is very strong, I do wish that they had the same application and strength on the indices as it does on the handset. And I also wish that the second hand was also loomed just to match the hour and minute hand. But again, just having that contrast orange probably more than makes up for it not being loomed at all. And then lastly, with this strap, as much as I do enjoy it, I do wish that the actual pinholes on it were a little closer together, because where it currently rests for me is a little loose, but if I incrementally adjust it to the next pinhole, it's just a little too tight for my wrist. Now, this might just need to break in a little, so that's not a deal breaker whatsoever. But another advantage too is that, with this case, they have drilled lug holes, so swapping it out on different straps is definitely an option for the future. And with that too, I'm a bracelet guy. I wish that they sold this on a factory bracelet, but you can get their aftermarket bracelets, which are ice hardened, but they're extremely expensive. They're about $700 US, which translates to about 1,000 Canadian. I don't think I'm going to be paying $1,000 just for a bracelet, although it might be nice to have in the future. And hey guys, my birthday is coming up, so if you want to get me a present, hook me up with a Damasko DS30 bracelet. I'd really appreciate it. But thanks for watching to the end, guys. I do appreciate your feedback. Please let me know what you think your perfect summer watch is for this year. And as always, I'll catch you in the next video.